Happy 4th of July, as Thomas Jefferson's hometown says, we will no longer honor Thomas Jefferson. You know, this may come as a shock to some of you, especially some of you young adults, some of you millennials. Do you know that there was a time in this country, not only was Thomas Jefferson considered a great American hero, but he was considered a great American hero among civil rights leaders? Yes, that's right. Martin Luther King himself considered Thomas Jefferson an incredible American hero and patriot and friend to the black community. You know, if some of you young people hadn't spent so much time in public school, public education, and getting revisionist history, which means you got no history, you got warped perspectives from libloon professors and teachers trying to cram things down your throat, some of you think that the civil rights movement didn't begin until the 1950s or 60s. Do you know that at the very founding of America, there were black members of Congress? There were black members in state legislatures across this country? Did you know that states like Massachusetts have never been segregated? And right from day one, Massachusetts had legislators in their state governing body who were African American. Did you know that Thomas Jefferson worked relentlessly and tirelessly to end slavery in this country? But to hear the modern Antifa movement, to hear the modern leaders of civil rights today, you would think that all Thomas Jefferson was a no-good, rotten slave owner. Did he own slaves? Yes. Was it the custom of the day for the wealthy aristocrats to have slaves? Sadly, it was. Thomas Jefferson recognized the injustice of slavery. He wanted to even mention the ending of slavery in the Declaration of Independence, but felt that if he had, it would have been too politically charged, and the document wouldn't have been released and wouldn't have been presented to King George, and the United States wouldn't be celebrating today its 243rd birthday. But he worked tirelessly to try to get it into the Constitution, that concept of all men are created equal. Did you know that Thomas Jefferson owned slaves before he understood that's not a good thing? And then he worked to end slavery. But in the state of Virginia, he was not allowed to set his own slaves free. It was against the law. So he worked to change the law right up until the day he died, and he couldn't get it overturned. He couldn't get it overturned on the federal level. He couldn't get it overturned on local levels. But he worked to end it. And see, Martin Luther King, who actually understood American history, Medgar Evers and other great civil rights leaders who actually understood true American history, understood what Thomas Jefferson was trying to do. And they didn't consider him a villain. But today, the modern civil rights leaders, they want Thomas Jefferson's name removed from school buildings. They don't want anything associated of American history with Thomas Jefferson because he was just a rich white slave owner. So we got to tear up the Declaration of Independence. We got to get rid of the Constitution because it was all written by slave owners, man. You're so pathetically stupid, it's pathetic. And this is why lunatics and nut jobs like AOC, the artist formerly known as HIV, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, get elected to Congress, who have zero qualification to be there. And yet she wants to talk about Ivanka Trump. So this 4th of July holiday, which by the way was initially enacted as a remembrance of thanking God for birthing America, this 4th of July holiday, it would do you well to learn some real history, and the real history of Thomas Jefferson, not the revisionist tripe, because again, like the mainstream media, the American secular educational system is not about education. It's about indoctrination and propaganda. Don't be stupid. Think. Because a thinking person, you become the real danger and the real threat to that oligarch, elitist, deep state, want to control you mindset. So come on over to the alternative conservative movement. We let you think. Really think. With all the information, not spoon-fed propaganda. And with that, have a great 4th of July.